Hello there, thank you for joining us for another episode of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. Look who's back! Christine's finally back, yay! And
Hi.
my name's Gregory Baird, I'm the other host here, and here's our star, Fluffy Kitty. She's being nice and relaxed here today.
She missed me, I think.
Oh yeah. Both the cats did. So this is a show where we talk about all things in pop culture that we love, new and old movies, books, streaming TV shows, also trailers as well. Breaking down today's show, we got two trailers we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about second trailer for Expendables 4. I know you're looking forward to that. We got a new trailer this week for the new Rebel Moon movie that's coming out. It's now called Part 1, A Child of Fire.
Yeah.
And I'm
December.
going to talk briefly about a new movie that came out this week called Golda, starring Helen Mirren. Christine's going to talk about season 10 of Alone, which just finished airing on the History Channel. We're going to talk about the premiere of Star Wars Ahsoka. Big exciting thing from this week. Another new exciting thing is Futurama, season 11, episode 5. We're reviewing that. Finally going to get back to some Chakotay's Odyssey, which we love talking about Star Trek Voyager. And maybe we'll have time for one of the other segments. And then we got a whole bunch of comments we're going to go through because I've been saving them up so you could hear them too. A lot of nice comments and some not so nice comments. So stick around at the end for some viewer comments there. I'm going to have the time codes down in the description below in case you want to jump ahead or back and forth to any particular section. And did you want to talk about anything about your trip there, dear, before we get going? Did you have a good time?
I did. I got a lot of mosquito bites, though.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell anyone where you went?
I just went home to Cape Breton.
There you go. That's in Nova Scotia, another part of Canada.
Had a good time. I'm back almost a week now. I left, well, it takes like a whole night to come on the ferry, so I left last Friday and got here on Saturday. So.
And this will be another shorter episode because as Christine's just back last week, we record at different times, so we gotta just get back into the swing of things. But next episode should be a regular size episode.
I didn't get to watch anything when I was home. I tried to watch the last episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, but I only got 5 minutes in. But I have got caught up now. And it was good. It was a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cliffhanger, so we have to. Although I could see it's going off Crave soon on September 8th. It's going to be gone, and I couldn't find Lower Decks wasn't on there. It's all moving to Paramount Plus. Now I don't know. We're getting new season of Lower Decks, but I think I'll be able to watch that on the Sci-Fi Channel. But yeah, hopefully we won't have to get Paramount Plus to watch those shows. Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's for here in Canada, but because other parts of the world don't have Crave. I think that's just in Canada because that's for licensing agreements. Yes. We don't need to get into that.
But people might need to get Paramount Plus in the future if they want to watch Star Trek. That does seem like before it was on in the States too, many different places you could watch it, but it seems like they're consolidating.
There's been talk recently that Warner Brothers may be teaming up with Paramount. I don't know if this is true or not, but there's been talk about that. So then you may end up signing up for Max, HBO Max, and Paramount Plus at the same time to get it bundled together. Because streaming, especially in the US, is way more expensive than network cable. And no one's signing up for cable anymore. Anyway, that's another subject. Let's get into it, okay? Trailers. We got a couple of new trailers. First one, Expendables 4. We just watched it, and it's a red band trailer. So this is coming out on September 22nd. What are your thoughts on this new trailer we just watched? Was it impressive? Was it fun?
It's not for me at all. I don't want to see it. It's the kind of thing I really don't like. Just a bunch of guys shooting everybody, blood, guts, bunch of old geezers. It's not for me. I'm not going to go see it.
Okay. Christine doesn't have anything nice to say about this.
Not my kind of
watching
thing.
this trailer, I'm not an Expendables guy. I can't even say I've seen all 3 of them. Maybe I tried, but I don't really remember much of them. I know I've probably watched 1, and I might have watched 3, but I don't remember anything about it. And you don't really need to know anything about it. Watching this trailer, red band trailer, they're trying to do Deadpool-esque level violence. lots of more blood and guts and knife fighting and
About the humor.
Yeah, you need the humor in it, and they really like that Chili Peppers song because it was in the last one, so they're getting all the mileage out of that one song that they paid for because it's in this trailer too.
I guess so.
I'm guessing it's in the movie.
It's just not my thing at all.
That they can't stop, and they got a rather not the best tagline. They'll die when they're dead.
Yeah.
Really? Who thought of that? Whew.
It's
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not my thing.
Well, we get to see Dolph Lundgren back. Good to see he's still working. Now maybe they're gonna do a bit more with Vivica. Sorry, not Megan Fox. Sorry, I'm thinking of someone else. Megan Fox there because I haven't seen her for a while, and maybe if she's gonna be an action star in this, I'm all for it. I'd rather see that than.
She's just taking her clothes off by the looks of the trailer.
Well, her and Jason Statham, aren't they? Don't they have like 20-year age difference? Well, good for him.
Everybody is old. It's an old guy. They're all shooting everything, and there's blood and guts and explosions.
Statham's younger than them. Plus, it's got another guy from the recent the Bad Boys 3 movie. He's in there. Can't remember his name. It didn't really grab me. I'm hoping it's fun because the trailer makes it look like it's fun. So I'm hoping this is a fun action movie. And sometimes it's good to get those fun action movies. And if there's lots of good humor in it, could be a fun time.
It's definitely an action movie.
Yeah.
We definitely see that.
I'm not overly excited, but I'm going into this because I will see this on September 22nd. I'm hoping for the best and that I'm optimistic. Okay?
Okay.
That's my phone. Do you guys have any thoughts on the new Expendables 4? This is their second trailer now. So if anyone has any thoughts on it, let us know down in the comments below. Also, thanks for watching. We always appreciate if people could, anyone who gives us a thumbs up, a like, and you can always subscribe for more content. There you go, Fluffy. There she is. Here, you want to give her a brush in there?
Well, she's behaving. So
Our next trailer, this one was long. This one was almost 4 minutes long, and it's for Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, coming out December 22nd on Netflix. Maybe it's coming to theaters, I don't know. But it's got a bunch of people in it. It's got the mummy lady, Sophia Boutella. It's got Jimon Hansu, who's in tons of things.
He is.
We get to see Ray Fisher apparently is back in it somewhere.
Is he? Oh. Okay.
Why, do you have a lot of nostalgia for Ray Fisher playing
Not
Cyborg?
Not particularly, because I hope they write him a better character than his other movies. Anyway, and
Anthony Hopkins is doing the voiceover in it.
I don't know, maybe he plays a character? I don't know.
I think he's the voice of one of the characters. I don't know, because I haven't seen it. Ed Skrein is in it, so maybe he's a villain, I don't know, but he's usually great and everything.
It's like Star Wars with a lot of like Doctor Who type monsters.
Charlie Hunnam, you know him from all those Guy Ritchie films because he's in so many of those. Carrie Ellis is in it from The Princess Bride. Corey Stoll's back. That's MODOK himself.
Big cast. There's a lot of people and a lot of creatures. It's like Doctor Who level, like aliens.
After watching this trailer, I have no idea what this movie is about, but I can definitely tell it's taking a lot of big swings. This could end up being something that's really good, or it could
ambitious.
It could take a lot of swing. It could take a lot of big swings and miss really big. So it could be great, or it could end up being really bad. I don't know.
Sign me up. I'm there.
You're into it?
Yes, because
it's
the kind of thing that I like.
So this is Zack Snyder's his version of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So we can see Star Wars influences in there. You said Doctor Who.
Well, it's got Doctor Who level type monsters.
Okay.
Yeah. Also looks like the Borg Queen is in it a little bit.
That one lady with the spider legs
she's sort of like a Doctor Who spider lady. So
so there's some Star Trek influence in there. There's a lot of things that look like influence this. and
looks
it's his version
great.
of it.
It's about space and a kid, and I don't know what else, but I'll be really excited to
At
see
one
it.
point, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Charlie Hunnam's character. He's John Carter of Mars, and he's running around on Mars, and there's explosions. I'm like,
Is it Mars?
what?
Oh.
No, I don't think it's Mars.
Oh.
I'm saying it looks
Seems
like it.
It could be like a galaxy far, far away and that kind of thing.
Point is, I'm saying this is definitely referencing all these other properties.
Oh yeah.
And that's
it's space.
I just hope it's not like another convoluted mess from the Snyders.
I don't know. It's gotta have. Listen, when we get into this stuff, there's always interesting concepts and things you can borrow from it, even if it's a little bit messy. There's always usually something interesting from these.
The scale looks ridiculously big. They got all these armies and spaceships, and the armies look as if they're wearing. Some of them look as if they're wearing Nazi uniforms. Others look as if they're wearing, pre First World War, like big regalia uniforms. The royalty and the pomp and all the big sashes and everything. Whew. There's a lot going on here, and I have no idea what this movie's about.
Good.
None.
That's what we like. Like to go in and just watch a movie and no really preconceived notions. Let's just watch it. It's coming out hopefully December, for Christmas time.
Do you think Netflix will put this in theaters, or they'll just put it straight to streaming?
I thought it was going to be in theaters. I just assumed.
It's Netflix though, and they don't like to do that.
Oh, too bad, because it looks like I would like to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, it looks like something that you would want to see in IMAX.
That's why I kind of assumed it was in theaters. Oh well, we'll have to wait and see. I hope it is.
If they put it directly to streaming, it could mean that they have no confidence in it, but it also could be, hey, it's Netflix and they don't care about theaters. They just want everything on their service.
They're not doing a lot of theater stuff. I don't really know how that's all working, but it looks like it would be nice to have it in theater. But
so you're looking forward to this in December?
Yes.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't know. I've been burned by Zack Snyder a few times now, so
the visuals look interesting. Even if it's a flop of a story, at least we've got this interesting looking world. You can take that away at least.
And we're getting a second part, whether we like it or not.
And that in April. Well, we'll see.
We don't have a runtime yet.
Already made, so yeah, that's good. But
so it's an epic science fantasy event, decades in the making. And
That's exciting.
Okay, hopefully this is good. Christine's excited for it. Fluffy Kitty's probably excited for it too there. Let us know what your thoughts are on the new Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. I mean, that's definitely a Zack Snyder title. Okay, I hope it's good.
Open mind.
Yeah. We got comments when we did that featurette, and people were saying that they were looking forward to it, so let's hope it's good.
It would be nice to have a parallel type Star Wars world. Anyway.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars is like, you have to wait a long time for another movie.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's doing this, is because he's not getting to work on Star Wars, and everyone wants to work on Star Wars, so he's doing his own version of Star Wars. And maybe if this is good, he'll get to do Star Wars. I don't know.
He might not need to.
I don't know. Or, well, if this is good, he might have to continue on making these, right? But I don't know. We got to get one good movie first, so I think probably it got broken up into twos because he wants to have really long movies. But we'll see.
Also, the Star Wars model. Have 3 and then wait 20 years.
No, their model is to make individual movies and then go on, whereas Zack Snyder tends to make like really long movies in the last few years. But
we'll see.
Thanks to anyone who watched this and gives us a thumbs up there. Fluffy Kitty would appreciate that. Moving on to our reviews. Okay. A new movie came out here this week, and I just want to talk about very briefly. It's called Golda. This is a historical biopic about Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir. And it's in the 70s, and this is about the Yom Kippur War. I didn't know this going into it. I just went and saw it because it's the new movie out this week, along with Gran Turismo, which, by the way, is great. Go check out the Gran Turismo movie. I've already posted a review.
I'm hoping to check that out this weekend, maybe.
Yeah. And apparently here in Canada on Sunday, they told me that it's like National Theatre Day. So all tickets at Cineplex on Sunday are $4. Great!
Sounds good.
That sounds amazing. It's even better than Tuesday prices. So I saw this movie. It's released by Bleecker Street Media. This is definitely a small awards movie. I went to go see it because it's got Helen Mirren and it's got Liev Schreiber in it. Liev Schreiber is barely in it. He plays Henry Kissinger.
I haven't seen him in a lot of things lately.
I think he's on TV. I haven't seen him for a while either. This, it's not going to be for everyone. It's not overly long. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes. Kind of drags a bit. If you're interested in history and you know what's going on in the Middle East, I'll admit I don't know that much about this stuff, especially about Israel and the various wars and everything that they've had to fight since their creation. Anyway, it was interesting enough, but there was 4 people when I went to go see it, and that includes me. I don't think a lot of people are going to go see it, especially here. Maybe in other parts of the world they will. I can't recommend everyone go see this because most people wouldn't enjoy this. It's almost like a history lecture, you know? Okay, so I had a fun time. Well, it was interesting. I wouldn't say it was fun.
Right.
But one thing that they do really well in this movie, she is chain smoking like crazy. Okay? Like it's 1973 and she's just constantly smoking. When one cigarette gets low, she uses that cigarette to light another one, just goes right at it, and ashtrays everywhere in the car. They go outside to smoke, then they go back into the office and smoke more. Everyone's smoking constantly.
I was brought up in a non-smoking household, anyway, but almost every other household that I went to in the 70s was
that's what the 70s and a lot of the 80s were. It was just people smoking all the time. So at the end of the day, because it was just okay, I give it a worst movie ever. Because okay means easily forgettable. I'm not going to ever see this again. Okay. But if anyone else saw Golda in the theaters, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. But I don't think many people are going to see this. Moving on, Christine has been watching a lot of reality TV. So you want to review season 10 of Alone that just came out.
I don't.
Tell us all about this show.
I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but I do really enjoy this show. So I think I've talked about it before. So this show is when they leave, they usually have 10 contestants. So they leave them alone by themselves with just video equipment in a very remote location, far away from each other. So there's no way that they're going to be able to meet each other. And these are very northern and remote areas. Last year it was Labrador. This time around it was Reindeer Lake in Saskatchewan. So that's like northern Saskatchewan. It's almost like parallel with where we used to live in Alberta.
Yeah, hold on.
So it has a winter, like the temperatures were like minus 20s a lot, like 0 Fahrenheit and that kind of stuff. In the end,
Wikipedia says this season was at Reindeer Lake in Saskatchewan.
That's what I just told you.
Okay.
That's what I just said.
I missed that.
Anyway, it was cold. Well, first they dropped them there in like the fall. And like there's berries and that kind of thing. And it's very interesting because of course you have to make a shelter and everybody makes a different kind of shelter. Mm-hmm. And we've seen the different ones on the shows, and depending on what you can do, sometimes you can dig, but sometimes you can't if you're on the Canadian Shield and that kind of stuff. Most of the people in this made like a log house. One made a big log cabin. But the whole thing is there's not much food. And you have to watch how much energy you expend and when you expend it on like your shelter. Yes.
Do they bring in their own food with them, or do they have to just catch it and forage
for it?
They
have to forage. They get nothing. They have like 10 items or
something. They bring in no food. Wow.
Yeah, there's no food.
Mm-hmm.
So first you have the berries, right? And everyone had berries. They try to also look at where like each little place has just the same amount of food, I guess, available. But so far on this show, a lot of people are thinking that hunting is really going to get them the food, like hunting a big animal. But so far, like in all the episodes I've seen, it's fishing is what you really need to be able to do to be successful, because you need those fats and the oils. even people that have got a large game, it doesn't have what they need to sustain themselves. But nobody got any large game at all in this. There was very little animals. One guy kept on trapping things he wasn't allowed to trap. And then they had to
like endangered animals?
Like a marten or something. They had to like let them go. And those things are like vicious.
Ooh.
It's just like the different rules, right? Different places have different rules. One guy had an interesting encounter with an owl that kind of wouldn't leave. Yeah, so they had some like partridge and that they could get. But anyone that thought they were going to like say get a moose or something and live off that, no.
Or a bear.
There was hardly any bear this time. Now, most of these, you see a lot of bear, and they have to be really worried about bear coming. And some people make the mistake of putting their shelter at the edge of the water.
Oh.
Yeah, of course.
Even I know not to do that.
And of course, all the animals come. And in the past, we've had people also make mistakes of like thinking that they can put their food somewhere and the animals get it, right?
Oh, of course they will.
But this time around, they were pretty successful. There was a few guys that had some fish, and they were able to store them successfully. But one guy in the end, oh, so sad. Spoilers. Oh, he really wanted to win. He had a child that was disabled, and he really needed money for him. And he was living off of mice that he trapped in their shelter. And he was eating them, and he's actually making the little stuffed animals out of them. He was so bored. And then like a marten or something came and stole everything, stole all of his mice and his stuffed mouse.
What's a marten?
A little pine marten. They're kind of vicious little.
Is it like a wolverine?
Yeah, so
or
smaller.
Like a weasel?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Oh, never heard of that before. Okay, so a
he
weasel stole all
was
his food.
desperate. Yeah. And some people, see, if you go in really thin already, you're at a disadvantage. And there was one fella, he was a very small fella, and he's from up north, and he knew how to like hunt fish, but he could tell that his body was starting to deteriorate. So sometimes they call in because of that, because they don't want their teeth falling out. Like in this, someone's toenail just pops right off.
Gross.
And they hardly even felt it, because their toes, they get frostbite
too. Because they're cold.
But they do get med checks, and they do get checked out. And sometimes they have to leave to get medically tapped.
This is during the winter?
It goes into winter, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what, because maybe for this season or in this region in Saskatchewan, all the bears are hibernating.
Yeah, well, there wasn't that many bears or big animals in this location. They were on this big, it's a bunch of lakes there. It's like a big lake, or like
was there a lot of forest in this area, or was it all open plains?
Forested, and it was really windy too. Yeah, winds just come, like the weather was kind of crazy, and a lot of them weren't expecting that. And people, of course, that weren't from Canada are not used to the cold. The two last people remaining were Canadians.
Nice.
Yeah, well, they were good fishermen, and that's how they lasted. Now, other people, yes.
Was it men or women?
Those were men. There was a woman that was doing it, but some of them just say, I miss my husband, I need to go home. And
okay.
I don't know.
So why'd they sign up?
I don't know. Like, this journey has brought me here. I don't know. I think that you could, if you knew someone with a piece of land, you could go do this on your own, essentially, and go live out there, and you wouldn't have to be on TV. But they win like $500,000.
How long they gotta be out there?
Till they're the last one.
Okay. How long does it normally take?
It was weeks. I think it was it 66 weeks?
66 weeks?
Not 66 weeks. 66 days. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's more than a year.
No, 66 days. But no, some of them have been really long.
66 days is more than 2 months.
You have to live. You have to be the last one.
Yeah. So how is this season different from the other 9 seasons?
I really enjoy it. You get to know the people. And you see what goes wrong. This one didn't, like, there weren't, some of them burned down their shelters before, but no one burnt down their shelter or anything. And it was interesting because there wasn't any animals to get. So they were really kind of suffering, some of them. And just eating berries. One of them tried to make pemmican, and they end up actually boiling, like, reindeer moss and trying to eat that. And they were, yeah, because there's nothing to eat once the berries go. I mean, you can make the pemmican unless you have a fat, and if all you have is berries. Yeah, anyway.
Tree bark.
Well, they have to make sure they don't poison themselves, but they were, yeah, that's the kind of stuff. They tried to make a soup, Anyway, so it
And
seems
they
my
sign up
conclusion
for
is
this.
you have to be good at fishing, and some of them had success with a gill net, but it got really rough some places. So it depends on where you get put to. Another woman who was a very good fisherwoman, she didn't catch any fish. But sometimes it's where you are, right? Sometimes the fish don't go around those places, right? And they had to wait for the ice fishing, for the ice to come, right? But none of them, they didn't do well with ice fishing in this one. Other seasons they have done well, but with this lake it wasn't successful for ice fishing.
So essentially this show is for people who want to test their survival skills in the wilderness and apparently like being outside.
Yes, you have to be hardcore into this. Now I think I could do the mental game, but I'm like a weakling, so I can't do anything like that. But I could sit out there for 66 days, no problem. But I'm just a weakling.
You wouldn't be able to take the cold.
That's what I mean. I have too much arthritis. But mentally I could be. I'm not going to say, oh, I miss Gregory. I got to get home. I'm going to not get $500,000 because I miss you
Fluffy?
so much. Well, I would miss her. But I can make little fake mice like that other pretend. Even though Fluffy and Penny.
I don't watch this show, and I'm not really into reality TV, but the little bit I've seen of this show, man, sometimes these people are really dumb. They come in and I know everything. And then they just start making the dumbest mistakes. Now, I'm not an outdoorsman, but even I know you don't set up your shelter and your base camp near like a drinking area.
Or drinking the water straight.
Because the animals might come and eat you.
Yeah, or drinking the water straight, which is I still see people in these survival shows drinking raw water without boiling it. So crazy.
They just want some E. coli on the side.
Giardia is what they get most of the time. And then they have to get tapped. Most of the time, well, not in northern Saskatchewan, but they get the Giardia and that's it. They're done. Or worms. One guy had a fish and it was full of worms.
Gross.
But it was near the end and he boiled the crap out of it.
Yeah.
So he did eat it. He was fine because he boiled it a long, long time. But it's quite interesting. I really enjoy the show. And if you're a wilderness person, of course, you're probably really eating it up. So in the end, the nice guy from BC who was a teacher, he won it. And he thought he was, like, they do it differently every time, like how they win. He thought he was on a med check, and he was getting pretty skinny. He had, like, his fat was gone from here and there, and you could see his face was really getting thin. And then his wife came from behind, and it was really nice.
It's similar to Survivor in a way, is the fact that however long you're out there for a couple of months, you're just going to be starving yourself for those couple of months. So
but it's cold.
You got to have some meat on you in order to survive that. If you go in there skinny and trim, you ain't going to last.
That's the problem. Yeah. But it's really interesting, and how you have to be resourceful, and how they say take pieces of clothing apart and use that for fishing and stuff like that is really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So is it coming back for more seasons?
Oh, I hope so. This was season 10. I'm pretty sure it's a very popular show, and I don't think it's really that expensive to make because they film it all themselves.
Yeah, GoPros.
Yeah, and they have like cameras. Sometimes they screw up and the batteries die when it gets cold, and they have to keep on changing the batteries and stuff.
Well, cold decreases battery life, so that makes sense.
The only thing that I could see in the show, though, is something bad happens. I mean, the waivers they must sign must be big. But if something bad happens on this show, I won't run it again. I can see that happening.
That doesn't make any sense to me, to sign your life away and then go outside and survive for a couple of months to outlast other people to maybe you win. For me, you'd have to pay me a lot of money to go out there and do that for any period of time, because that would be a nightmare for me. So overall, you're enjoying this show. It's one of your favorite shows?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm not good at the outdoors because I'm not good at fishing or anything. But I try it sometimes. But I'd like to be out there, but I need someone else to do all the work for me.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, we should do it together.
Or you could do it yourself, because I'm not doing it.
If we were on the Amazing Race, we'd kill each other.
The Amazing Race, we wouldn't make it to the first checkpoint.
I know.
Unless I was carrying you.
Carry me.
Like put you in a wheelchair and just
Yeah,
wheel you
yeah,
everywhere.
Exactly. Anyway, I definitely recommend it. It's a really fun show.
Okay. I can't comment on this because I haven't seen it. Well, I've seen parts of it, but Christine really enjoys it. Is anyone else enjoying the Alone show from History TV, which has been going since 2015?
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
hardcore show. Like, it's really, people have to know what they're doing. They don't just pick some person that thinks they know how to survive. Like, these are people that, like the guy that won, he taught like wilderness education. That was part of his job.
Mhm.
Like, a lot of people, that's what they do. Or unfortunately, some of the people, they've grown up in such poverty that as children they had to live off the land because their parents were alcoholics or weren't able to provide for them.
Do they win?
No. Well, sometimes. I don't really know. I don't think they've won, but they're just used to living off the land and not having a home.
Okay. We gotta move on now. So, if anyone else has seen this Alone show and is enjoying it on History TV, or maybe if you don't like it, I'll leave a comment down below. And anyone who gives us a like or a thumbs up, we appreciate that. And you can always subscribe for more content. Well, this week we got brand new Star Wars. The Ahsoka series premiered. We got 2 episodes last night, and I stayed up to watch them. Have you watched the 2 episodes now?
I didn't stay up though.
So first episode was called Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
And the second, which is interesting because I got a book here called Master and Apprentice, and it's actually about Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Come on, kitty, sit down.
Yeah.
Sit down, Fluffy Poo. Okay, and second episode is called Toil and Trouble. So this is a spoiler review. I'm going to put the warning up, okay? Because we got to have something to talk about.
Witches.
Now, the first episode was all about, is just an introduction. It's introducing all the characters. Because a lot of people haven't seen Rebels. They don't know these characters. So you're introducing them, and you're showing that there's a background. We see the mural. We see a bunch of the drawings. We see a bunch of Sabine's like artwork in her place there. We see Lothal. Okay, live action Lothal looks pretty good.
In her tower.
Yeah, she lives in like some old watchtower or outpost or something.
Not afraid of heights.
Well, when you go into the Lothal city, it's all just these high-rise things there. I thought it was Alderaan at first. I'm like, but no, that place is gone by this time.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So this would be, I was thinking about, this has got to be like around 10 years after Rebels ended.
They said it's been quite a few years since the rebellion. But
yeah, because it's the New Republic now.
But I don't know how many. They didn't exactly say.
So we don't really get an opening crawl, but we sort of do.
We did get one.
Yeah, but it's not the traditional Star Wars thing. Maybe they're saving that for the movies. I don't really care.
There was an opening one, though. Just talked about Ahsoka and the prisoner, who is Madam...
Hold
What's
on.
her name?
I'll get her name here right now.
I don't think we've seen her before. Am I right on that?
Oh, yeah, we saw her in like season 2 of Mandalorian. Because she had that spear.
Oh, I don't remember that.
That he got. And then he had it melted down. He had that spear for a while. So that is Diana Lee Inosanto. Plays Morgan Elsbeth. And so that was interesting because in the second episode, she reveals that she's one of the old Night Sisters from Dathomir.
Well, that's all about Dathomir. They go to Dathomir and find the map. That
wasn't on Dathomir. Dathomir has a very distinctive look. It's like a nightmare planet.
I know, but
it's always dark, and that's where the Rancors are.
I thought that's where they were in Dathomir when she gets the thing, and those were the witches' drawings.
I don't think so.
Oh.
That was like on the edge of their galaxy that they were.
But where she was done by the witches.
Yes, she mentioned that. But I thought all the Night Sisters were the female Zabraks of Dathomir, and the Zabraks are the same species as Darth Maul there. And his brother, Savage.
I didn't think that.
Okay.
So
I guess there are also some are human as well. Asajj Ventress. She wasn't a Zabrak.
No, but she was a witch.
Yeah. Maybe she was a Zabrak, but she had no horns or something. I don't know.
I don't think that was...
No, the Zabraks do have horns.
Inclusive. I didn't think so. I thought they were just the witches.
So I guess there's humans as part of the Night Sisters too, but I thought they were all wiped out because the last one that was alive was the Witch Queen, and she died in like the sixth
Well,
season
it's
of Clone Wars.
just like the Jedi. There's probably some still out there. Obviously, there is. This Morgan one appears to be one.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, the Night Sisters from Dathomir, which although the Rancors are from there, they're Force users. They're Dark Force users, but they're not part of the Sith, and they're not part of the Jedi. There's other Force users in the galaxy.
It almost seemed like they were from this other place they're trying to find.
I always found the Night Sisters to be really interesting. I was first introduced to them from an online game I used to play years ago called Star Wars Galaxies, and Dathomir was part of it, and the Night Sisters were there. It was always great to go and take them on.
Oh. I know that a lot of them were wiped out in the material we've already watched, but it doesn't mean that there's still not some of them out there. Anyway.
So far we've seen a little bit of action from Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Ray Stevenson is playing Balon Skull, so I'm guessing he's a fallen Jedi. And he trained an apprentice. But then he's got a third guy, too, that we saw.
Yeah,
and
he's got
one of
the apprentice, though.
He's got one of the Inquisitor blades.
They called him by name. He has a name, Mantara or something, because they said that he sent his apprentice to go monitor his activities. They called him by name in the episode.
Min Weaver, played by Peter Jacobs.
No,
I don't know.
It's Mantara or something is his name.
Sure. Okay, we're still learning some of these names. It's all these difficult Star Wars names.
Because they said you better make sure he's doing it right.
Yeah. But it's interesting that he would have one of those Inquisitor blades because they're spinning around. Because all the Inquisitors are dead by this time.
Well, like, they're reusing all the tech. We see that in the episode. They're taking all the stuff that they used and putting it to other uses. They've got this whole shipyard is being run by those people.
On Corellia. You know who's from Corellia?
The freighters. I don't know.
Han Solo.
Oh, is he?
Remember that Solo movie? Which was a fun time. I watched that recently. It's fun.
Corellian class freighter is a good one.
So, Ray Stevenson's there now. Interesting thing.
That's all I know about them.
They're not Sith, but did you notice, is it just me, but they're lightsabers? Everyone said that these are Sith lightsabers because they've bled. What it means is they've taken the kyber crystal and they've bled the crystal so that it turns red.
But
these aren't red. They look more like an orange red to me. They look more orange than they do red to me. Am I the only one?
Maybe because they were Jedis that turned into Sith, but isn't that the way they always go? I don't know. They are acting as Sith in this, though.
Well, they're acting as Dark Force users.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily make them Sith.
I don't know.
But anyway, it's interesting to see what's happening there.
And they don't seem to know his apprentice at all. We don't seem to know where she came from.
In the second episode, we get Toil and Trouble. We get to see more of Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera. And she gets to do some more stuff. She's piloting, and we see Chapel, and he's just throwing stuff out of the ship with his little arms.
Yeah, people may not know that's even his name. She calls him Chop or something. I don't know if people even know who
his
he
name's
is.
Chopper. You know, Chopper was actually in Rogue One. He'd like in the background if you look really hard. He's there, and so was their ship. What was their ship called? The Ghost or something?
I don't remember.
I gotta watch Rebels again. I don't remember a lot of stuff.
Watch it all again.
But I mean, the lady who's playing Sabine Wren, Natasha Lou Bordizzo.
Yeah.
I looked her up, and she's from a bunch of TV stuff that I don't know. So far, I'm digging it.
She's a Mandalorian.
She's a Mandalorian. And she's got Ezra Bridger's old green lightsaber. Now, and we get to see Ezra Bridger in the hologram, so maybe they got someone else cast as well for older Ezra Bridger. For a while, there was rumors going around that it was the guy from Aladdin who played
the Canadian guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name? Mina Musa, something like that. Anyway, looking forward to seeing that. We haven't seen any of Thrawn yet, but we will because he's in the trailer.
This giant ship thing, the Eye of Silence.
They're building this giant, remember the Jedi hyperdrive rings? They're building this giant one.
They need to get so far to this. It's like it's like Janeway going to the Delta Quadrant by the sounds of it. They need to get to the Delta Quadrant.
Well, they have to go to a different galaxy.
Yeah, so
because that's where Thrawn and Ezra Bridger are. I guess.
What is it called? The Eye of So like
I didn't
Scion
pick
or
it up
Scion.
there.
I have Scion, I think is what they
I'm
called
just
it.
trying to learn all the
It's very
characters.
much witch words. Like it's just the way the episode name, right? It's about the witches. She's a witch. She's building this witch.
I don't think she's in it that much, though.
But he's kind of doting her, saying that she's full of it. But that's all the witch lore.
He was paid to rescue her, and so
very
Balon
invested in
and
it.
his apprentice Shin Hati. So I guess we'll call her Shin.
We don't know who she is yet. Yeah, no one seems to have called her by any name.
Anyway, they seem rather mischievous. They're up to no good. You know, they're doing stuff. They're building their own lightsabers. Did you recognize David Tennant's voice as the droid?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, he's not in it. He's the droid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's happy to be in Star Wars.
I know. Too bad they didn't have him. Maybe they can always put him in there acting.
The first episode, that Captain Hallie, what an idiot. He's like, oh, they say they're Jedi. Bring them on board. Okay? Really? Why?
He's not used to wartime, obviously. He's in peacetime now. He's forgotten. Obviously. Because they're in peacetime for a few years. He's not expecting interference in that way. But thinks he's got the upper hand.
But the galaxy, of the New Republic that is now, it's still in chaos, right?
Well, it's been a few years though. They haven't had these like people, you know.
I mean, there's
still
remnants of the Empire. That's why they gotta stop Thrawn, because he would unite them.
But
I don't think he would. Tell the truth.
They're not understanding that they're realizing now the size of the threat, obviously. They didn't know that they owned the shipyards in Corellia, and they didn't know all these things. And now it's coming clear to them that the enemy has been working for a long time, and they've been really dumb about it.
And that's what we've kind of learned from Mandalorian, is that just because the Emperor is gone, the rest of the Empire is still there. It's just fractured. And slowly, and they're still fighting battles. And also in that Aftermath trilogy that I read, that's what that's all about.
And in another 10 years, you got like Kylo Ren and all that coming around. Because right now, he's like probably like 10 years old or something. Or not even.
I don't think he's even born at this time yet.
Well, he would be born. It's supposed to be
a
few years after they,
I guess.
They said several years, so I'm assuming he's born.
So this is not one of the terrible Disney Plus 6-episode series.
Not so far.
It's 8 episodes.
These 2 were good.
Yeah,
and I'm
but
hoping
that's
it's not
classic Disney.
Go downhill.
Classic Disney is always the first 2 or 3 episodes are good, and that's what they release to critics. So I'm not going to look up the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, because they'll put up their critic score, then if later episodes come out and they're not as good, then they don't post another score, and so it has a high critic score.
Well, so far I like it.
Remember, Obi-Wan started off good.
I didn't mind
Even Book of Boba Fett started off good, and then it just went...
I didn't mind Obi-Wan. I just think it was rather a small story.
I didn't think it was necessary.
It was like just a little view into his life.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. And why do we care if Luke was in danger? We know he lives.
It didn't propel the story forward, but it was just nice to get some material.
Yeah.
I guess I looked at it as like throwing us a bone, right? We got something.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I argued that because I had rewatched it a few months ago, and I had argued afterwards that if you want to bring back Ewan McGregor, just do stuff after Return of the Jedi, after Episode 6, and if you have Luke in it, not as a main character, but as a peripheral character, you can bring back Ewan McGregor as a Force ghost, as old Obi-Wan. I'm cool with that. That's how you do it. No one wants to see prequel stuff when you know he's fine the next episode. No one wants to
be Force ghost. I think that's the problem.
Are you kidding me? If you called up, they got Liam Neeson to do it. He wanted to do it.
I know, but it's not a real role.
They got Anakin Skywalker to come back as a Force ghost.
You could do much.
Hayden Christensen.
Luke was like projecting himself.
If they called up, what's his name, Ewan McGregor, and said, "Hey, you want to be a Force ghost in a few episodes?" He'd be like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah, I know, but
he's always wanting to play Obi-Wan.
I guess I'm saying a Force ghost doesn't do very much. Anyway, I've seen so far. I like it. It's interesting.
I'm enjoying.
Feels like I need to go back and watch everything that I watched before to get all the history of some of these characters. Have we seen this Balon before?
No, he's new. He's new. No, he's new. He's new. I feel like rewatching Rebels for this, but I don't feel I need to watch Clone Wars again. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times.
I've only seen them all once. I guess
Okay.
that's why I'm thinking that I missed something. But I'm okay. I like these episodes. I thought it was fun.
Do it now, because we're not going to have Disney Plus forever. They don't keep coming out with good stuff all the time, so I don't always have it, because I'm not going to pay for it when I'm
threatening of getting rid of Disney Plus.
No.
Instead, get Paramount Plus.
No. This is a thing that people do now. It's called the churn. Okay.
Yeah,
when you're not watching it, you just cancel it, and then you go back months later when they have something you want to watch.
I think here in Canada they're probably going to punish us for doing that.
No, they're going to punish everyone to do that. They're going to be like, you have to sign a contract for a year, right?
Something like that. I have a feeling Canadians, we always get screwed with this kind of stuff.
Well, that's because
like
we always have to deal with
cell phones and
monopolies and everything. Yeah.
I have a feeling it's not going to go right.
Okay. These 2 episodes started off good. I'm cautiously optimistic. Not just because it's characters that I like, and it's Dave Filoni. He's doing a really good job. Okay? The storytelling, it's a bit of a slower pace, but you get stuff that's going on. Rosario Dawson's character, she's kind of stoic a bit.
She walks very slowly. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They have her like walking very slowly around places.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird for TV, like walking so slow. Anyway.
Because she must be on the volume stage.
I don't know.
Although at that one point she ran from that explosion.
Yeah, but she seems to walk slowly. Anyway,
okay.
So far I'm liking it. I hope it's good.
I like the runes, and it turns out those weren't Jedi runes; those were Night Sister runes.
Yeah,
I love anytime seeing that.
Okay.
You know what would make a great movie? What would be a good idea for a movie is like the Fall of Jeddah, something like that. Although I know there's a book out for it right now, I haven't read it yet, but I'd always want to see more of Jeddah, like pre the Death Star, because afterwards Jeddah is just the planet is off its axis, and it's like the gravity's all messed up, and it's messed up. You don't want to be there. Anyone who's there is pretty much gonna die. Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 were great. I loved it. I'm hoping the rest is good and that they don't go downhill. I have faith in Dave Filoni, who made Clone Wars and Rebels. Those are his shows. So, looking forward to seeing more of this character. I just want more Star Wars. That's what I want. I want to see more Star Wars on screen, and good Star Wars. I don't want to see Book of Boba Fett, because except for like the last 2 episodes, it wasn't that great. Which is when it was all Mandalorian.
Of it when he was in the desert, it was kind of interesting.
I don't want to see stuff like Rise of Skywalker, because I'm not a fan of that. That didn't work for me. Yeah, each to their own. If you like it, don't let me stop you there. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka down in the comments below. Love to hear from you. It's Monday, so that means we got another new Futurama episode. Episode 5 for this season is called Related to Items You Viewed. I just finished watching it, and this is, I had a fun time with this one. This is really making fun of Amazon and going after them. We get to see a bunch of guest stars because most of it takes place on the moon. So we get to see the old moon hillbilly and his 3 robot daughters, which that goes all the way back to episode 2 for the whole series, when they went to the theme park on the moon. We also get to see the theme park mascot. I love that hillbilly's hat, though. That's a great reoccurring gag. That's that reference there. The moon shall rise again. Yeah, there's a big uprising there. All of them are getting upset. All the residents of the moon residents, they're all upset about Mamazon moving in and keeps taking up more space. We get to see, who else do we get to see in this? So we get to see Mom, and we get to see her 3 idiot sons there. And of course she's slapping them the whole time. She even ends up slapping Professor Farnsworth, Fry, and Leela in this episode. But mostly this episode starts off, it's about Leela's moving in with Fry and Bender, which their place is always a mess. Anyway, so that's an interesting dynamic. Yeah, and they're ordering lots of stuff. I like how they're making fun of Amazon there. That I don't like how Amazon operates their company myself, and their Alexa devices. They're always recording and always listening, but somehow respect your privacy. That's not something I'm going to be spending money on. Overall, I had a good time with this episode. I like how at one point there was 2 moons, and then it just expanded, so it's the whole universe and everything is within it, and so they just have to accept it and pay the money because it's more convenient. Is that kind of how we are with Amazon? Is that a critique on that? I don't know. I know South Park a couple of years back did a good critique on the Amazon fulfillment centers and the working conditions they put people in there. So, and that was a funnier episode. I should go back and watch that sometime, although I can't because it's on Paramount Plus and I don't have Paramount Plus, so What else we got there? We did see that nerdy robot. He's not really a big character. He's rarely seen, but he was the Mamazon supervisor there for Bender after Bender started working there. We did get to see Hedonism Bot there. I almost forgot about that one. Still waiting to see La Barbara and Barbados Slim. Next week we get an Xmas episode, so guaranteed we're going to see Robot Santa. I think he was in the trailer for this season as well. Oh, there's a Zap episode. Oh well. Looking forward to it. Still enjoying this season. Is anyone else out there enjoying the new Futurama season? I've actually been going back and watching some old stuff, and I'll maybe do a quick synopsis of what I've been watching. I've been watching since, it would be, according to Wikipedia and everyone except for Disney and Hulu, it would be season 1 to 4 was the original Fox, then season 5 was the made-for-TV movies, and then season 6 started on Comedy Central. That's what I started, so I'm watching season 6 and 7, which then goes into this new season that they call 8, but Disney calls it season 11. Confusing, huh? Anyway, let me know what you think of the new season of Futurama. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you enjoy any of the other ones? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks to anyone who checked this out and gives us a like there. Fluffy Kitty's always appreciative of that there. Now it's time for our returning segment of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. It's the long-awaited return of our longest-running segment. Season 2, Episode 20 is called Investigations.
Is Tuvok a detective in this one?
No, he's in it, but barely.
Oh.
This is a Neelix episode.
Oh, but isn't Tuvok the intelligent officer, like the guy that's supposed to do investigations?
Well, he's the security officer. So this one, you're gonna love this. Starts off, Neelix is running his own YouTube channel on the ship.
Oh, I can
Although
see that.
it's like 15 years before YouTube was invented.
To cook things?
No, remember, he's the ship's morale officer.
Oh, right.
If you remember back to the first episode. So he's now doing his YouTube channel, let's say, his own ship morale show, and he's talking about, it starts off in the kitchen, but he gets into doing other things.
Like Frank on Avenue 5.
So he's trying to do all these things to improve ship morale, but remember there's all this angst, and remember we got bad attitude Tom Paris?
Oh,
he got into a fight with Chakotay, with Officer Hardass Chakotay, and then and he keeps showing up to work late and everything.
Right.
So now it comes to a head, and Neelix learns that Paris is leaving Voyager.
Where's he gonna go?
Exactly. That's what I said. But anyway, Voyager's meeting up with this convoy of other Talaxians. That's Neelix's race.
Oh, okay.
And they had signaled ahead long time ago, and so this was like Paris is going to go with them and work with them. Okay, he's going to stay in the Delta Quadrant.
Hundreds of Neelixes irritating you every day.
I don't know if they're all like Neelix. The one guy that showed up, we see another Talaxian, he wasn't anything like Neelix.
No, he wasn't like him.
So, and then Neelix goes and blabs about this on his show.
Right.
And we're like, okay, sure. So he leaves, and as I'm sitting there watching this, I'm thinking, why would he leave? If anyone from the Voyager crew leaves the ship, they're all targets for the Kazon.
Well, it's
Because
just
the
silly. Why would he leave?
because as Voyager heads towards the Alpha Quadrant, the Kazon are just chasing them. All these
Well,
different sects of the Kazon.
Yeah.
So if anyone leaves, they're obviously gonna kidnap them and put them as a prisoner, torture them, or use them to get some kind of information out of them on Voyager, right?
It would make more sense if a bunch of them wanted to start a colony somewhere, and then when Voyager got back, they could send people for their descendants. I mean, that would make more sense. But anyway,
well,
who's to making sense?
I didn't say this show made a lot of sense, but he decides to temporarily he decides to permanently leave the ship and join this Talaxian convoy. I guess they're merchants or something. I don't know. But also we get to see what's his name there? Michael Jonas. That's the engineer. That's the spy.
The spy guy.
The spy. This guy keeps popping up.
He's not very covert. He's like.
So as soon as Paris leaves the ship, okay, convoy, they leave. Voyager gets attacked. Of course it does.
I wonder why.
Yeah, and who does Tom Paris get to meet up with? He gets taken prisoner. Who's he meet up with? Seska, the baddest woman in the galaxy. So she's there. She's full on pregnant. You know, she's like 9 months pregnant, I guess.
The spawn. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she's trying to get Paris to help them, and she's trying to manipulate him.
Yeah. Does she have a better standing now than she did before? Because she was kind of low on the totem pole.
Not really.
Before. Oh, okay.
Not really. Things aren't going that well, and then she's arguing back and forth with this engineer spy, Ensign Jonas. Yeah, he's a Maquis engineer.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Neelix goes on his show to announce to everyone that Tom Paris was probably the spy, and that he was feeding information to the Kazon. So
why did he come to that conclusion? Again, he's not Tuvok. He's not the security officer.
Yeah, so he suggests it on his broadcast, okay? Because he's a genius, right?
Ethan Phillips didn't get to do that show on.
But after that happens, Janeway is
Yeah.
pissed off. She's like, "Get him up here right now." Okay?
Okay.
So he gets hauled into a meeting with Janeway and your favorite character there, Tuvok. And they reveal to him that this is all a ruse. Okay?
Oh, it's fake.
Paris leaving because they're trying to flush out this spy because they know that there's that someone's releasing information to them.
I think they could pick it up on their comms and stuff. He's using their software.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, Neelix does the investigation because I guess Tuvok is too busy putting his feet up. He's like the Maytag repairman. He just sits there with his feet up, reading the newspaper. Maybe the phone might ring.
They keep on
Maybe it doesn't, you know?
Things for these like extra characters to do all
Talking
the time.
lazy here. So Neelix is doing his own investigation, even though he was told not to.
And he's not qualified.
B'Elanna and her engineering team have to like rebuild the warp core because they busted it or something. And so Neelix keeps bothering the engineers for his investigation. But meanwhile, Jonas is there, and he's like trying to, like he's just giving him the evil eye. He's always in the background like he's ready to stab him or something if he finds out. And eventually what happens is Neelix does find out what's going on, going through the logs and what's been deleted and everything and what's been altered.
It would have been obvious before, but anyway.
Well, no one's checked into it, right? So, and then Ensign Jonas there takes Neelix hostage and he takes over engineering, and I'm sitting there, what's this guy's end plan? What's he gonna do? Beam out into space or steal a shuttle or something?
Maybe,
this makes no sense.
Maybe he could get Seska to beam him to her ship. I don't know.
So they have a big fight in engineering near the end.
Okay.
Tom Paris escapes and comes back because they put him in a room. Like, these Ks are not very smart. They put him in a room that has consoles, and he hacks his way into the console to get out. And I'm like...
You could probably just get in a Jeffrey's tube or something.
Why don't you just put him in the brig? What is this nonsense?
You don't have brigs.
These guys are dumb. I mean, Chakotay escaped in like 5 minutes after being kidnapped by, like, Maj Kula.
Yeah, we're just going to put this prisoner in this shuttle, this extra room we have.
No, they like put him in a communications room. I'm like, what, was the brig full?
Like, yeah,
It's
it's
dumb.
like, we're gonna leave the doors open because it's a little bit too hot in here.
Anyway, it wasn't that exciting of a climax, and in the end, Paris comes back and then goes on Neelix's show, and Neelix apologized for what I said, and then Paris comes clean. He's like, yep, this was all a ploy, and I've been doing this for weeks, and I'm sorry to anyone that I pissed off, but it had to be believable, and he's very sorry to Chakotay, whom he got into a fight with, because he pushed him down.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be like a slacker.
I'm like, don't push Chakotay. He's just, you know, he's the cool senior guy, and he's just so laid back all the time.
Harry Kim lives next door to Tom Paris. He's been playing his clarinet all night, and he can't get any sleep. That's why he's late all the time.
If that was me on that ship, and I was in a room next to Harry Kim's, and he was playing his clarinet, I'd be like, hey, Harry, can I see your clarinet? Boom! Okay?
Make another one.
Good kitty.
They have like the machine that makes things.
I would just break it over his head every time, okay? Every time I would break it over his head, because I don't want to hear that crap.
Oh, he scared the kitty.
So, overall, I don't recommend this episode.
No.
But that was another exciting episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Now we're going back to one of our new segments that's really popular. It's called The Power of Family, not starring Dominic Toretto. So this is part 2, where I watched The Fast and the Furious 2, Electric Boogaloo. And this one does not feature Dominic Toretto.
No.
So this is Paul Walker's movie. You remember Brian, you know? Because Brian's the badass. He's the cop in the first one. Now, Christine did not watch this with me. I asked her to, but she refused. But I'm going to convince her throughout this series that she needs to watch these movies with me. And these are great, because I've never seen most of these before. So we'll watch number 2, never seen it before. Let's see what we got on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think this is one of the more liked Fast and Furious movies.
I don't like to see nice cars getting smashed up.
It's not about that. It's all about, it's about street racing. It's all about racing and fancy cars there. So, Too Fast, Too Furious has a 37% rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 50% audience score.
And you really wanted me to watch it.
I had a fun time with it.
I went upstairs and I think I finished watching alone.
Okay.
I came down all ready to watch something. And I'm like, what are we watching?
So,
I'm going back upstairs.
Movie starts off, okay?
Yes.
And, oh, by the way, so even though this is Paul Walker's movie, because they made profit on the last one, so they're making a sequel, he's not looking the best in this movie, okay? He's not Hollywood, like, maintaining 2% body fat, okay? He's still looking good, but you see he's wearing t-shirts all the time. He's not Hollywood thin.
Driving a car all the time. He's not, like, walking places.
Well, they do other stuff.
It's not like
they're
running.
not always in a car
all the time.
But anyway, so, and also a lot of this movie, I think because they were trying to make it cheaper, so much of this movie is green screen and compositing. And it's really noticeable.
Oh.
There's a lot of it. They're having scenes where they're like talking on a boardwalk or talking on a beach, or talking in front of a mechanic shop, and it's all green screen. Oh. And I'm like, didn't they build any sets? I guess they spent it all on the cars. So, Dominic Toretto doesn't make an appearance in this, and neither does Letty, which is Michelle Rodriguez's character.
Aren't they like the main characters of this whole, like, saga? Okay.
But we get Paul Walker's back as Brian, and we get Tyrese Gibson. I think this is his first appearance because he wasn't in the first one, and he plays, what's his character's name? Roman Pierce. He's one of the guys that's like in most of these movies. So he first appears in the second one. Okay. So get this. This movie starts off, and these random people are driving around, and like guys in their cars, and there's all these women, you know, wearing like their bikinis and their shorts, because it's LA, it's hot. Anyway, and they're setting up roadblocks everywhere.
Are the guys wearing bikinis because it's hot?
They're wearing very scrimpy clothing because it's hot, okay? They're in their tank tops. They're wearing their shorts.
That's the I want to see, when the guys are wearing the bikinis.
So they're setting up roadblocks with construction signs and pylons everywhere.
Yes.
Okay? Why? Because we're doing another street race, right? So, Tej, who was in the first one, I believe, that's Ludacris. Okay? That's his character, Tej. He comes out of this mechanic shop with this giant afro. And I'm like, yes, I love it.
Do they have like spotters with walkie-talkies and stuff? Because that's how you're supposed to do it.
They might have. I don't know.
See, they're not doing it
Okay,
right.
comes out with this, and he's getting things started, okay? There's 3 cars there, and they're all, talking trash to each other because they're going to race, right? So what does Ludacris do? Calls up Brian. Hey, Brian, you want to come in a street race? He's like, yeah, I need the money, right? Because
There's money involved?
that's what it's all about. They always bet, okay?
Oh.
They're always, like, betting thousands of dollars.
I thought it was more about who's faster.
Or their cars.
It's like, why do you run races?
Okay, and get this. So he needs the cash. Why does he need the cash? He's a cop, right? Anyway, Brian shows up, and one of the other characters, what is her name? There's this other character, her name's Suki, and she's got this pink convertible, and it's all pimped up. It's great.
So this is like a commercialized business. They're not just people like hanging out on a Saturday night having fun to see whose car is the best.
No, that's what they're doing.
But they're betting on it?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Street racing. That's what this franchise is all about. Okay, that's the main thing.
The drag in your nice
okay?
car.
Anyway, Brian shows up. Now, if I hear that Brian is coming, I'm not really too worried, okay? That's not exactly the toughest name, okay? If I hear Dominic Toretto's coming, I'll be like, oh, geez. But anyway, Brian shows up, and then one of the characters, Suki, she's like, oh, shit, Brian's here. Like, oh, no. I'm like, really? Brian is
driving?
Yeah, so Brian shows up because he's the badass now, and he shows up in his pimped out street racing car. And so he's the badass. So he shows up, which means, oh, crap, he's probably going to win, right?
Okay.
Of course, he's the main character.
Now,
so there's a 4-way race.
Okay.
Brian wins it by using the double NOS. But here's the interesting thing. They have this giant race throughout LA. It's crazy. And it goes on way to... So within 10 minutes of the movie starting, you're street racing.
Okay.
Great. But Ludacris and the crew, they take a bridge and they raise one side of it.
Right.
Okay? And that's like the end.
It's a canal.
So they have to jump over it. So they have to go up the ramp and jump, right?
It's like to let boats through?
Yeah, but they only raise one side of the bridge.
Okay.
Okay? So Brian's in second by the time it gets to near the end of the race here.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And the other guy, he uses his NOS and then he's going over. Brian does the double NOS and goes over him from behind as they're going over. And then he wins the race. The second place guy crashes. Then Suki comes in and she does the NOS over the bridge. She comes in second. And the other guy who was all talk at the beginning, he wusses out and doesn't even jump. Okay. Anyway, it's great. Brian collects the money, and just then there's a mysterious woman that's there, and she starts to flirt with him. But then the cops show up. Damn, right? The cops are cock blocking them now.
Probably be more like municipal workers would be showing up.
But get this. So Brian is racing away in his car.
Yeah.
And there's a cop, a detective, that takes him down. Why? Because he's got future tech. He's got this like big cannon that he shoots this 3-pronged trident into the side of his car, and it's got these 3 prongs, and if all 3 enable, sends like an electric burst and disables the car.
Oh, not his car, someone else's car. So it's a potato cannon.
Yeah, but it shoots this like trident thing that disables his car.
If you shot a potato at them, it would disable them too, I guess. There's 10 of these movies, right?
Anyway, there's 11, including the spin-off.
I got one for number 12. You know what it needs to be? Transformers. Like spin-off, like Transformers and the Fast and Furious.
Well, they are making Fast X Part 2.
That should be the movie.
Anyway, so after the cops interrogate him, and then they're interrogating him because he's no longer a cop. He got fired. Because he let Dominic Toretto get away at the end of the first one. Gave him his car, so he lost his badge.
He doesn't have a job.
So that's why he needs the cash. And that's why he's street racing all the time for cash. For thousands of dollars. Okay? So they're interrogating him, and then within 2 minutes they're like, okay, you're working for us now. Okay, sure. Doesn't make any sense. Okay? But he demands Roman Pierce is his second driver to work on this plan with them. So they have to go recruit him. They recruit him at a speedway, like a smash-up derby. He's just driving there, smashing up cars. Okay, that's fun. But he's got an ankle bracelet on. He's not allowed to go like more than 100 yards from his residence. but his residence is a trailer that he just parks beside the speedway.
I think they do look into that.
And he walks around with his ankle
bracelets on.
Okay, so that was funny.
Because everyone would say that they lived in a trailer.
So that's the problem, okay? They all got records, and they're like, I don't want to work with you. Oh, and these two hate each other. Brian and Roman, they hate each other. But they have to work with each other because Roman got busted, okay, for street racing. Did Brian bust him? No, but he blames them anyway because he was a cop.
Sounds like they've all been busted at one time.
Anyway, they agree to work with the cops, and, they're working with LAPD, but guess who else they're working for? Last time they worked with the FBI. Now who are they working for? They're working with U.S. Customs. Sure.
Okay.
And they go to the U.S. Customs
exciting.
office.
But they're all in LA. It's not like they're going out of...
Anyway, they gotta get their records expunged, right?
Okay.
So then Brian meets this mysterious woman again, because she's working with them too, right? Although... I don't think she's a cop. I think she's an informant that she's working with the bad guy. Okay? And they get 2 new cars from the customs office. These 2 new street racing cars.
Okay.
So they take them out and go and have fun, right? They drive, and whenever they drive somewhere, they drive fast and they drive furious. They don't just go down for a stroll. They have to have a race every time. Every time. There's constantly racing, right? So this new woman is Monica Fuentes, who's played by Ava Mendez, if you know who she is there. There she is there.
Okay.
Oh, it's Monica Clemente, it says here, but I don't know, maybe they changed the name. Okay, so they go and they meet up with these 5 badass dudes who all have their own individual cars, right? And at one point there's a Fonzie joke, because we all love the Fonz here. We've been seeing a lot of Fonzie references lately. Anyway, they all go and meet some douchebag rich guy. Okay? What's his name? Who cares? He's a terrible dude. He's the bad guy, right? So they go meet up with him and they want to get this job. In order to get this job, they have to test for it. They have to go do this test. He sends them on a quest. And in order to go, before they go, they have to give them their driver's licenses. And they do. Okay? So they give Monica all their driver's licenses, and then they have to race off. They have to get to the impound lot.
I'm very bored already.
And get something out of an impounded Ferrari. Okay? So that, once again, it's street racing time, right? So they have this big race to get to the, on the freeway. There's a bunch of CGI effects through a car, which is quite interesting. You see a tracking device because the customs guys are tracking them. Okay? And the cops think they're going rogue, that they're running, but they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, okay? Right. One driver is killed by 2 trucks. He gets smashed in between 2 trucks.
That happens on the highway.
Yeah.
They're speeding.
Brian shows off he's driving in reverse at one point. He's just showing off, and Tyrese Gibson is like, what are you doing, buddy? Come on.
What kind of cars are they driving in this?
All these decked out street racing cars. They have different cars all the time because ones get busted up.
Or new cars, like new type of cars.
Both.
Like Mitsubishi.
Some of the guys have old classic cars, and some of them have like just regular cars that get zooped up. Like at one time they're driving a zooped up Mitsubishi. In the first one, I think they were driving zooped up Honda Civics. Okay, remember those black cars I told you about? Anyway, they bust into the impound lot to get the package. They just drive through the gate. Then the cops show up, so they got to get... Okay, go back to the rich guy. They got it. It turns out it wasn't even his car. And so he just wanted to test them. And so they get the job. Yay!
I'm bored. I'm just bored.
Okay. Anyway, the rich guy owns the impound lot. It's a transporting job, and they're going to get paid 100 G's each. And then he invites them to a party that night.
Of course. Sure.
Roman's pissed off and keeps acting like a hard ass towards this guy. Sure. Brian and Roman got a mechanic garage they go to a mechanic garage at the harbor. Okay? At the harbor, and there's this big party going on because they're racing boats. Sure. Okay? And Ludacris is back. Tej is running. He's running it, taking bets and everything, but his afro's gone now. Now he's just got like a fishing cap on. But somehow his huge afro is underneath it. Okay.
Could be.
Sure. Anyway, and that's when they find out that they got tracking devices in their cars. So they're like, crap, these cars are hot. These cars are too hot. We got to get rid of them.
Okay.
So what do? They go hold on.
Another
Update me.
car?
We learned that Brian lost his badge because he let Dominic Toretto go. Roman and Brian argue over an exit strategy of this terrible job that they're in because the cops are screwing them over, right?
Okay.
So here's what they do. They go and they go. There are two of the guys that they were racing that survived this test that they beat.
Yes.
What they do is they have a street race with them so that they can win their cars.
Ugh.
So they bet their
That's
cars.
really stupid. A guy that's into that would not lose their.
But
would
get-
not agree to that.
But get this. So the race it's a there and back twice race. Okay. So one guy from each team because there's two guys on each team, right?
Okay.
So one guy go. So the two of them go. They come back, and then the other guys go and come back, right? So. And this is way over the top street racing, and it's fun. You should check these out. It's hilarious.
Not for me at all.
So Roman goes first, and when he comes back, he's way behind, right? So what happens is Brian goes when Roman finally gets back, he goes, and the other guy's way ahead of him, right? In fact, he's
Right.
on his way back. So what does he do?
Shoot the potato cannon at him.
No, he does something here. Hold on, blah blah blah. Roman loses his race. Brian plays chicken with the guy as he's coming back. He plays chicken with him and wins. So the guy crashes, and then he comes back, and the guy's trying to get back, and then uses his nos, and he wins the race, and they win their cars. Yay! That's just a side story.
People that work on these cars like that would not give their car up in a race. Like,
Okay.
that's just not what's
So
gonna happen.
that's what they were doing. Then they show up at this slutty party that they were invited to from the rich guy. Okay? And they meet Brian and Monica, have a little bit of moment because they're just chatting. And then the rich guy gets upset and he's treating her like dirt. In fact, she's kind of like his prisoner, which really sucks for her. This guy's not a good dude, okay? He's like beating women
Women
and
are
killing
not
people.
represented very well in these movies.
Okay. Anyway, they have to go and torture this detective. This is Detective Whitmore.
Cops are not.
In order to get a
represented
15-minute window for this job that he hires them for. Because the transporting job, he has to transport something from LA to Miami. All the way across the country, right? And they gotta have a race to do it, right? Sure, why not?
Train?
Okay.
Never heard of a train before?
Anyway, there's this weird torture scene that they're forced to watch. Essentially, it's reinforcing that the bad guy is really bad. He's a rich dick, right? Okay. Brian's crashing at his houseboat. Monica is there and tells him he'll be killed after the job, so he's sleeping with her. And so the rich guy's gonna double cross him. As soon as they finish the job, he's gonna kill them. Oh no.
course.
So they have to team up with
They're
these two
stupid.
hired goons from earlier that I thought were cops, but they're actually goons that are working for the rich guy.
Okay.
Okay.
And
They meet up with the cops again that they're working with. They get new cell phones. They're forced to go with the plan. There's a bromance moment on the dock between Brian and Roman. They have a nice bromance. It's like, yeah, it wasn't your fault, buddy, that I got arrested. It was my own fault. Yeah, it's cool. Anyway, good bromance. They're friends now, okay? Let's see. Brian and Roman meet with the hired goons at a trailer park to get the money. They don't get their 15-minute window. So the detective that got tortured, he reneges on. He's like, no, I'm going to take these guys down. So there's a big chase with the cops, right? There's two helicopters. The cops have a helicopter and U.S. Customs have a helicopter, and they almost crash at one point. Everyone's out for themselves, right?
I mean, a helicopter would solve all of this problem because you would see all these people street racing to begin with, or just a simple drone. And a train could get a car from LA to Florida.
At one point, the customs guys, they pull out their Future Tech gun and shoot Brian's car with the Future Tech Trident to disable his car.
Oh my god.
Okay, and he has to lean out and pull it out because it hasn't enabled yet, so he pulls it out. I'm like, this is crazy, ridiculous.
Steal the battery, for God's sakes.
Oh, they drive into this gigantic warehouse. So apparently they're already in Florida, I guess. Or maybe they're still in LA. Not clear. They drive into this gigantic storage warehouse because there's all these garage doors. And the doors close, right? And then hundreds of cop cars show up and they block them in, right? So what happens? Doors open up and 6 giant pickup trucks come out.
Okay.
And run over
Maybe
the
it's
cops.
in Texas then.
And run over the cops and take them out, and then hundreds of cars, all their friends from the street racing, including the people that lost, they all come out and they're going everywhere. Right?
Okay.
And then the 2 cars that Brian and Roman are driving, they come out too, and the cops track them. Turns out it's not them. They switch cars, which was smart on their part. Okay? They show up in Florida.
Okay.
All of a sudden.
Yes.
Like, just like that, they show up in Florida. Roman uses his... But they still have the hired goons with them. One's with each of them. So Roman, he uses his passenger ejector seat to ditch his guy.
That's a common thing in a car.
Yeah, he just throws him in the swamp in Florida there. And he's like, yeah, I got rid of him. Okay, Brian meets with the rich psycho, hands over the money. Rich guy learns that Monica is a rat and takes her hostage. He was pretty much treating her like a hostage prisoner anyway. Okay? Come on, this is good stuff, right? This is some good drama.
My tree. I'm so glad I didn't watch it, but maybe...
So... Brian's not doing so good. Then Roman shows up to save him. They drive to save Monica. So just as the bad guy's getting away on his huge yacht, luckily there's a road right beside the bay as they're going out.
Boat. They have a car and he's in a boat.
Yeah, but they're driving out of the bay or down this river estuary on the side of Florida there, but there's a road going right beside. So they race along, and what do? There's a ramp up ahead, hit the nos, and they land on the boat. Yeah, it's so wacky.
Does the boat sink?
Okay.
They all sink?
Then no, it just lands on top of it and crashes the top level. Cause it's like several levels. This yacht. It didn't
matter if it would have sunk it.
So in the rich guy shows up. They gotta kill him. They shoot him in the shoulder. Monica shows up with a shotgun and takes him out. So she takes him down. I'm guessing she's a cop, but it's really not clear who she's working for. The U.S. Customs, they take all the money that they were transporting.
Right.
And the rich guy, and they expunge their records. So they did keep their word, right?
Okay.
Roman steals some of the cash, though. He, like, stuffs it down his pants and then pulls up his shirt. And he's like, look, all the money I got. And they're going to use that money to open up a garage in Florida. It's going to be the bromance shop, right?
Is there any gay guys in this?
No.
Okay.
Open up a shop in Monica goes with the customs police, I guess. This was fun. I don't care what the ratings say on it. It was wacky and ridiculous. Terrible. I mean, they're jumping over things. It's all street racing and cars, and it's just so over the top. You gotta watch number 3 with me, okay?
No,
this was a fun time, okay?
It's not for me at all.
Okay.
It's not for me.
I had a great time watching this.
You watch it, and I have to suffer through you telling me about it.
Have you seen Fast and Furious 2, Electric Boogaloo? If you have, leave a comment down below. What'd you think of it? Was it good? Was it not so good? Was it really fun, hilarious? I had a great time watching this. It was wacky and ridiculous. And that was part 2 of The Power of Family, not starring Dominic Toretto.
Okay. Now
we're going to sign off. And before we do that, our contact information is down in the description below. If anyone wants to get in touch with us, social media, you can always leave a comment down below. But we got a whole bunch of comments from people that I've been saving up, okay? When I say whole bunch, not that many. Get this. Dave, different Dave, commented on your Star Trek review.
Which Star Trek one?
Strange New Worlds, the musical episode.
Oh, yes.
And he said, I disliked it so much, but my lady couldn't continue after 10 minutes. We agree, though. Not every episode can be a hit. Pun intended.
Yeah. Now, I read a lot of people were commenting on Facebook, but like half the people absolutely loved it because they like musicals. The other half absolutely hated it. So it's just, I don't really like musicals, and that's why I didn't like it. But it's like a really divided episode, though. A lot of people really did like it.
Okay. Thanks for your comment there, Dave. Appreciate it. Now, I'm not going to read it out, but Bryce Sweeney must have been having a bad day, and she left a rather negative comment on our
Bryce is a man's name.
He or she left a comment on our season 2 review, your review of some of the episodes for Good Omens season 2, and must have been having a bad day.
It wasn't a very good show, Good Omens.
Anyway,
season.
We're trying really hard. We're trying to get better, okay? We'll just
I didn't
don't cancel our show.
I didn't really like season 2 of Good Omens. It was not half as like the season 1 was twice as good.
Anyway, thank you for your comment, Bryce Sweeney.
And it was depressing.
China O'Brien 1 commented on our Saw X trailer review.
Right.
And he said, I like Saw 4 and 5, which I haven't seen them, but thanks for the comment, buddy. And I'm hoping this new one's good. Now, we got another comment from a repeat viewer, Zach Milne Talks Movies. He commented on our Shazam 2 review.
Shazam 2, okay.
Yeah, he said, Jack Dylan Grazer, that's the kid who plays Freddy.
I like him.
Yeah, he's really good. He said, Jack Dylan Grazer stole the show in this one. I agree.
I think it should have been focused more about him.
Zachary Levi was still entertaining, but I felt the writing for his character was very unfocused this time around. I agree. Action was fun, villains were kind of cool, but overall this movie didn't work for me all the way through. Yeah, can't argue with you on that.
Yeah.
It was a fun time, but it didn't give us anything new, and it wasn't anything amazing, so. But thanks for the comment there, Zach Milne.
Yeah, Freddy was like the best character, and I wish they would have more focused on him and forget about Billy. Was really boring and not Shazam 2, really.
Yeah. And
he seems to be turning out real good, considering his past.
Yeah, he has a tragic past.
Yeah.
Moving on our Jackie Brown review.
Okay.
Verboten commented, because I kept saying about Sam Jackson's look in that movie, as that weird look.
Oh, it's weird.
He said, yeah, he looks like a Burke, which is a British slang for a fool or some kind of... I had to look that up.
I don't remember at the time people having hair like that. Maybe it was a thing? I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It was not.
So... Yeah.
But thanks for the comment there, Verboten. Yeah, he does look weird in that movie.
He looks weird.
And then David Norhoff, whom we know, he commented on my Blue Beetle spoiler-free review.
Okay.
Says, it was the best movie I've seen this year. Looking forward to the next film. Excellent, man. Best movie you saw this year. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It means you enjoyed it more than that Transformers movie that we saw.
Enjoyed it more than I did. I saw it this week, and I just...
Yeah. We're going to talk about it for another section of our Into the DCEU for next episode. So thanks, everyone, for all the comments. We appreciate that. Did you have anything you want to add before we sign off there?
No. That's it.
Excellent. Thanks, anyone who checked this out and gave us a thumbs up. We always appreciate anyone who views our shows. Feel free to leave a comment down below. That would help us out. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.